job.
Oh, no, no.
Right?
Oh, no,
I
no,
was
no.
like, because are you serious? And I'm like, no, you said that to be funny. And you're like, no, I'm dead serious. I'm like, no, that's a joke, right? Like, absolutely not.
Still the same. I don't know how else to write it.
Call us to order.
Special. Yeah, let's just do this.
Okay, are you good, Rebecca?
Yep, Words are wearing off though.
We're good.
Okay. So,
Red flannel on.
sorry there is no Zoom tonight. We are recording?
As far as I'm aware, yeah.
Okay. So we're sorry there is no Zoom tonight. We're having some technical problems, but we are trying to record it. So hopefully if you watch this later when we post it to YouTube, you will understand why there's no Zoom, and hopefully it did work and we're able to post it to YouTube. So we'll do our best. We're moving at the speed of technology. So we are going to call the regular meeting of the Cedar Springs City Council to order for August 10th, 2023 at 7:12 p.m. If you would like to rise and say the pledge with me, I invite you to do so. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And I will call the roll. Miss Atchison.
Here.
Mr. Gross.
Here.
Miss Hamel.
Present.
Miss Nixon.
Here.
Miss Powell.
Here.
Miss Race.
Here.
And Mayor Conley is here. At this time, we will, is this off my paperwork? We will, I'm trying to get my printed agenda. At this time, public comments. At this time, the council recommends and encourages the public to speak during the public comment and public hearing portions of the agenda. However, the council policy is to hear the public comment, not to act on the public comment at this time. Concerns brought before the council during the public comment portion of the agenda will be referred to the city manager for action. If after communicating with the city manager, no resolution is reached, the concern will be elevated to the mayor and then eventually to the council for action. Those citizens wishing to speak on agenda or non-agenda items will be allowed a maximum of 4 minutes each to address their concerns. This is the only time during the council meeting that citizens are allowed to address the council. Please state your name. We're just going to stop talking about addresses because we put them on Zoom and so please state your name for the record. And if you would like a written response, please get your address to the clerk. So, public comment. Do I have anybody?
I'll make this quick, unlike last time. Sean Kiphart with Friends of Skinner Field. Just giving you guys a quick update. We've got a meeting coming up on Thursday where we're going to add 2 new board members. One is the operations manager for CASA, Lee Cornelius, and then also a member from the new, well, it's not new to Skinner anyway, Fruit Ridge Premier League, which is another soccer league who's going to play games on Sundays. Another youth sport. So they're going to come to the meeting and presumably be voted in, which would put us at 6 members at that point. I've accepted a position as the middle school football program director effective this year, so I'm not the field director for the youth program anymore. So but what that has enabled me to do is pull the middle school over to practice on their pregame on Tuesdays. So we'll have pregame walkthroughs with the middle school. Our schedule is pretty well booked up from starting next week. Monday through Thursday, CASA has added 2 new teams to the practice schedule. So Monday through Thursday, they will practice all 4 days on the field. Youth football practices Monday through Friday outside the fence line at Skinner Field. That's from now until the 17th of October. Games will start right after Labor Day on Saturday, all days except September 23rd. Fridays, CASA will have 4 home games on Friday nights that'll require lights. And as of September 14th, for 7 weeks, yes, I believe it's the 14th, is a Sunday. For 7 consecutive Sundays, the Fruit Ridge Premier Soccer League will hold their games, and that will be 5 games per day every Sunday starting in the morning. So we were able to launch today an online Google Calendar for Skinner so that everybody could see it, and I sent the links out and then forgot to mark it public, so they couldn't open it. But I did send it to the city clerk and to the city manager, but I did not trip the switch so that they could actually open it. But it will be when I get, and I can't do it from the app on the phone, so I have to get back to my computer now and flip it to, I was so excited to. It does look good, to the two people that can see it now. But anyway, everybody will be able to see it shortly. Well, go figure, right? I went over it 100 times, and I'm like, it's perfect, send it. And then I get an email back, I can't open this. And I'm like, of course you can't. So anyway,
Okay, thank you.
anyway, that's all I've got.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Anyone
What time
else?
is that meeting? Thursday?
7 o'clock.
Okay, at? Okay.
Any other questions? Are you
No,
good?
No, I'm done.
Okay.
Sorry.
No, don't apologize. Any other public comment? Public comment? Going once? Going twice? Okay, moving on. We do have a full agenda with public hearings tonight because we do hear public hearings on ordinance changes.
We do?
Public hearings, amendment to the City of Cedar Springs Brownfield Plan for White Creek Flats LLC project. I'm sorry if we're making you,
No problem.
we can get you the handheld mic?
No, I'm getting better. I'm good. But thank you very much. Good to see everybody again. Thank you for having us here. This is a public hearing on a requested brownfield plan. I think everybody's very familiar with the project, 168 multifamily unit on White Creek. For everyone else's benefit, I know we've had work sessions and gone through all the numbers. For everyone else's benefit, this is a brownfield plan request to support infrastructure extensions to serve the site. It will also close a water loop on White Creek there. The assistance is being requested in order to make the project pencil. We worked collaboratively and came to what we believe is a fair structure, a good for both sides. Council members challenged us to come back with a different proposal, so we did. We worked through that, the brownfield plan in conjunction with a payback agreement to try and shorten the reimbursement period as low as possible so everyone can benefit from the increase in taxes. It's about a $30 million project. There will be a big bump to all the taxing jurisdictions, respecting the fact that the addition of new residents will have a demand on services. So we dialed the brownfield plan back from 100% to 80-20, so there's a 20% pass-through immediately. We've addressed the 425 payment to Solon Township. There are administrative fees factored into the plan as well to offset costs for the city administering it. This is in partnership with the land bank. We went through that structure in order to qualify the project for brownfield. The timing on this, which is why we're asked to have the public hearing tonight and come back at a later date for consideration for a vote, is because we have to execute a transaction with the land bank before we can do that. So it's extremely important that if there are questions that we can answer them tonight. So going in, we know we've got your vote of confidence when we come back to seek final approval. So if there are any questions tonight, please don't hesitate. We're happy to answer them. But I won't stand up here and carry on because we've been working on this for a very long time. It's a marathon, not a sprint, but we appreciate all the cooperation with staff and council members with their interest and ability to work with us. So thank you.
Questions?
So just for the benefit of those who haven't been with a lot of things, can you summarize the proposed change, if you're able to, in 3 sentences or less?
I was going to give you a paragraph, but
Yeah, well, can I maybe err towards
Okay.
with the changes to the plan, right?
Yes.
Yep, so we originally had come forth with just a brownfield plan, seeking 100% capture under that plan. The concern was this services, we dialed it back to an 80-20 plan, so it's only capturing 80% of the increment instead of 100. We also coupled that with a payback agreement and I'm glad you asked because I don't think I touched on that. But there is tap fees. We'll enter into a payback agreement, so the surrounding properties, which could very well be dug, continuing on developing, but anyone, Doug's group will be putting forth the cost to put in the infrastructure. With this payback agreement, anyone who's developing and wants to tap into that will pay a tap fee. That tap fee will go to accelerate reimbursement to Doug and shorten the term of the brownfield. So it's not a double dip, it's an offset to try and shorten that period of time. So in using those two tools, we were trying to keep the reimbursement period as short as possible. Right now, it's projected at about a 13-year reimbursement. That assumes zero payback through that payback agreement. So it will only get better from there.
And to be clear, the 80-20 pass-through, there's a 20% pass-through that we capture the taxes so that we can use that money to pay for water infrastructure upgrades, to pay for police, to pay for fire, to pay for all of our wonderful DPW that provide services to all of these people that will be.
And lastly, the 425, the payment, the 425 payment that's incorporated into the agreement, there was concern to make sure that the city isn't coming out of pocket on that. So what we've structured in the reimbursement agreement is that's part of, I'll call it the administrative cost that comes off the top to ensure that that is paid first before the developer gets any reimbursement. So we've accounted for all of those concerns with the structure that we've described here tonight.
So then it sounds like this is a formalization of previous talks and negotiations with the Planning Commission and City Council.
Correct.
Okay.
Yep. We've worked through, and I believe we've addressed all the concerns that were raised.
They even came to DDA.
God love you and your love of meetings.
They were at DDA.
Yes, and we did receive unanimous recommendation for approval from the Brownfield Authority / DDA.
So, and the Planning Commission has, as we've all heard from them. Yes, Planning Commission
Yep.
representative. So, I'm just, any other questions? Okay, and just as a final, it's 168?
168 units, correct.
168 units.
And I think is it September 14th that we're scheduled to be?
Your next regular
The
council.
next regular council meeting that it would be considered for approval. So
Because we have to have a public hearing on all of this before we can vote on it. And it will be 168 units, a third are 25% are 1 bedroom, 50% are 2 bedroom, and 25% are 3 bedroom.
1/3 are grade level accessible.
Yep. Fully accessible. So that seems like a thing. Like that feels really needed in our community. So any other questions? Okay, at this time then, I will close the public hearing.
Well, did we have
Oh.
the public?
The public, is there any public questions? Any questions? Because the public may comment on the public hearing, thus the public part of the public hearing. And we will hear you as the part of the public hearing. We're good? All right, then I will close the public hearing. And we will move on to adoption of the agenda. Do you need all of us to like nod at you, or do you need a straw poll, or?
we can't ask for you to vote on it tonight.
I know you can't, but we
if
can,
you're-
I can take a straw poll of people in support.
Whatever you feel comfortable with, we would very much appreciate it, because again, with the structure with the land bank, they're required to acquire the land, and this is a critical component of making this project. Obviously, as you very well know, we've had many meetings, and then everyone's invested a lot of time, so this is a critical piece to making the project a go.
So I can take a straw poll?
One more clarification, and between this meeting and the next meeting, we will be buying the land, so if there's any questions, concerns, now's the time to address them.
Yes. Still no.
Yes. He's not buying the land, he's not as concerned.
He's the one with the checkbook.
Right.
So I will just do a straw poll and go down and ask each person if they're in support of this.
I support it. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I appreciate that you listened, you heard, and you acted on what we said, and I could support, yes.
Yeah, and I'm also the one who was probably the loudest and most obnoxious about the things I needed you to change. And I really appreciate that you, as Mr. Gross says, listened and made that happen. Does that give you some reassurance?
Good
Oh,
luck.
yes, good luck. Moving on to the adoption of the agenda. Do I have a motion to adopt the agenda?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Any discussion? You good with Rose? Sometimes you're the one who wants the change.
I just wanted to review the consent agenda.
Okay,
That's all.
but you're good with the regular agenda?
Yes, I am.
Okay. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? We have an agenda. Moving on to the consent agenda. Council members may request any and all items be removed from the consent agenda. A motion is then in order to adopt all items not removed from the consent agenda. Requesting the removal of an item from the consent agenda is a prerogative afforded to each council member and does not require the support of other council members. Approval. So, consent agenda.
Item E,
Motion to approve the professional services agreement with Fishback for the Cedar Springs 205J-604B grant, emerging containment assessment project in an amount not to exceed $234,000.
a lot of this I don't understand, and I would like some discussion about it. I don't know if we have to expedite it tonight for a vote, or,
Would
Just a
you
discussion.
like to start by maybe having Darla speak to it?
that'd be wonderful.
Yeah, so not too long ago, DEQ contacted us and said we have some
Money.
grant money available, $234,000. Would the city of Cedar Springs like that? We said, yes, please. It's specifically for PFAS cleanup issues, investigation, all that kind of good stuff. So
We're applying it to.
we agreed to accepting that grant. Now, this is our engineering company. Not everybody can do this kind of investigative work. So the investigative people from Fishback, not our regular engineers that help with the street, road
Right.
projects and stuff like that, put this contract together. Fishback will do the work. We will pay Fishback. Then DEQ will reimburse us the $234,000 for all the work that's listed in this agreement.
Okay,
That
that clears it up for me, thank you.
Yeah, this was like a first week when Darla got on board the ship and started to steer it, and
Yep.
things were just pouring in, and she just,
I got the call and said, do you want $234,000? Yes, please. It's work that we have to do anyway, so if DEQ is willing to reimburse us, or Eagle,
this is part of the stuff that we had earlier, if you
Yeah, I was
remember,
wondering
with
if
the
that was a
testing
connection.
and the-
Yep.
that Eagle said we had to do. And I want to be really clear, our wells are continuing to come back no
clean.
cleaner.
But we had to pay for the initial wells, and now they're,
And then we've had to additional testing, and then as we drill a new actual well, because we need more water, we have to test that.
Sure.
And all of that is part of this PFAS as Eagle, which used to be called DEQ and is now Eagle, says that we have to do these testing, and I don't think that's terrible.
that's great if they're giving us money.
But now it's the state or the Fed that's giving this grant?
State.
The state is offering this grant as part of the PFAS, like, if you have to do things to deal with PFAS. So
Okay,
that's where it's from. Is that helpful?
So we
Yes,
have,
very.
like, 234 extra now in our budget somewhere?
Correct.
Where?
Yep.
Well, we'll have to.
In the wastewater fund.
Okay, is that one that we can't pull out of?
Correct.
Correct. It has to be for, it's same fund that rates are paid into the wastewater fund, used for wastewater pipes.
Anything, but like
But the
the
next
well
time that a
and like all
well,
that stuff that we're paying for?
That's the water fund. So the well would be water fund.
Okay.
so the next time one of those things is catastrophic, we have a little money there.
Well, this $234,000 is already spoken for.
Oh, okay.
Clearly identified. We
I
had
thought you were
to,
saying like we'd already paid it, and then they're gonna,
we've already paid $200,000 to put in monitoring wells.
right?
Now, this is additional monitoring and testing
Got it.
that they're requiring us to do.
'Cause of course,
Right, but I'm asking if this was already put in the budget that we
No.
already saw.
No, this is new funds that,
So that's what I'm saying, so
Yeah, I-
we should have the extra 234,
no.
right, at the end,
well,
once we
It's-
get reimbursed.
we'll pay the 234, then they'll reimburse us.
Right.
And it's going to take
But we haven't paid it yet.
this is going to take 2 years to complete all of this work. So by June 30, 2025, we will have paid out $234,000 and been reimbursed $234,000.
It's a
it'll
break
be-
even.
Budget
Right,
neutral.
break even.
Yeah,
I think,
okay.
oh, no,
Go
unless
ahead.
that answered it, and then I'm gonna,
No, go ahead.
okay. So I think what you were asking is, when all is said and done, will this create an extra 234,000?
Yeah,
No, because we were going to have to pay for this work to be done, whether they gave us money or not. So this makes it just so we're not in the hole, $234,000.
okay. Were we gonna have to take out a loan or something for that then? We weren't sure.
It would have been
Okay,
current existing rates.
okay. That answers my question then.
Or marijuana money, or
Right.
something
Okay.
else in the budget, or just like we did with the previous 200,000
Yeah.
that we had to for the previous
Fine.
wells.
Now, will that will be complete at that point, or can they say, well, we want, see, that's
They
what I'm
could,
wondering.
they could.
DEQ can change the rules every day, every month.
This is their second time around. and
Yes.
It could be the third, it could be the
And
fourth.
I was initially like, oh, we're getting paid back for that $200,000 that we
Nope.
had put out, but no, this is new.
New testing.
This is a moving target.
Yeah,
Yep.
legal.
Well, at least it's free this time, so.
And at the
Right.
end of the day, the water does not have PFAS.
Yep.
So let's just say hooray. Right? Okay, so good?
Yes, very
Okay.
good.
Anything else on
you.
consent agenda?
Not for me.
Then I will take a motion to accept the consent agenda.
I'll make that motion.
Is there a second?
I would second.
And we'll do a roll call since this is money. Ms. Atchison?
Yes.
Mr. Gross?
Yes,
Ms. Hamel?
Yes.
Ms. Nixon?
Yes.
Ms. Powell?
Yes.
Ms. Race?
Yes.
Mayor Conley votes yes. Moving on to action items. Motion to approve the city manager contract as presented and the oath of office for the city manager.
I'll make the motion to approve the city manager contract as presented.
I will support.
Okay. See, I promised you all that we were meeting like right away. We got right on it.
Well done.
So any discussion?
I am more than thrilled to have Darla be our new city manager. She's a real gift to our community.
4-year contract. We're not messing around. So she actually suggested 3. We said 4. So we roped her in, just so you know. Just so you know.
I'd prefer a 10.
In perpetuity of your whole life.
I said we really would like you to stay here till you retire, but I know I can't make that in a contract. So, any other discussion? Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Congratulations.
Thank you.
Ms. Falcon, would you like to do the oath of office now?
I, Darla Falcon, do solemnly swear or affirm that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Michigan, the city charter and code of ordinances of the city of Cedar Springs, and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of city manager to the best of my abilities.
I will.
Yay! All right, that one went well. Item B, motion to appoint motion,
No, yeah,
Yeah. Motion to appoint Darla Falcon to the Grand Valley, I'm like, wait a second, we just did that. To the Grand Valley Metropolitan Council Board Member for the City of Cedar Springs 2023, because we should make her go sit in more
something
meetings.
We tried to just inform them, but they're like, we need a motion and all this stuff. We're like, okay, fine.
I would
enough?
make that motion.
Second?
Second.
Any discussion? May the force be with you.
Thank you.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Thank you for doing that, Darla. Item C, motion to approve the installation of the two-sided message board at the heart of Cedar Springs as indicated in the site map.
So the DDA was gracious enough to purchase the sign.
And it's quite lovely.
Yes, very,
Is it still in the back room?
it is. Yep. Like life-size, two-sided, plexiglass. We'll be able to advertise events and maps and whatever. And we're proposing on the corner in the heart of Cedar Springs by the trail. Any thoughts? Opposition?
Rose and I were at the meeting, and I won't speak for Rose, but I thought it was fabulous.
We need to pour a cement slab, and then it'll be attached to the cement slab, so we thought,
And you can like read it on the trail? Like you can see it when you're on?
well, not the White Pine Trail, the path that goes by the library, by the parking lot by the library.
Yep.
And it's, we can't actually put things on the White Pine Trail.
Oh, I didn't know. I didn't know if you could read it from the trail.
Yeah, because that's actually state property, and then a piece of it is federal property.
DNR right away.
But the really wonderful piece about this is it can be changed.
So
Yeah.
it's not a digital.
No,
Like you put things in it. and then-
Posting.
post
Yeah.
notices in it.
But it's like plexiglass and protected.
Right,
and
yep.
So, but then where we've had problems in the past is we've had like permanent signs and then a business goes out of business and then you still have a sign there.
Yeah, I get it.
So this is a,
I get it.
yeah.
Is there a picture of this in the packet?
I don't know if there's.
The actual sign
it's in
was out there.
Yeah, it's out there. You can go look at it. Go look at
She's
it.
going on, Dylan.
Go ahead. Go look at it. Go
Pull
look.
it in here.
Watch your step out there.
Go look at it. For those of us who haven't, I mean, I've seen it, but go look at it. It's quite lovely. If anyone else would like a tour of the sign, we can make that happen. We're big on being transparent. See the sign before the sign. I thought that was lovely that DDA decided to do.
Yeah, yep. Well, and at the corner, the heart of Cedar Springs there, I mean, I would say 80% of the people visiting the heart go
Yes.
by that sidewalk.
Yes.
So,
It'll be particularly nice for things like concerts.
yeah, once the
Put up the,
schedule is set, we post it in there, boom. The movies, Tuesday night movies at the Kent Theater, boom, right there. Yep.
good?
Lovely. So it has like a little,
Yeah.
those who were not on the field trip.
Rose and I were at the GDA meeting that approved it, so.
I withdraw my question about the White Pine Trail because that makes no sense now that I've seen it.
So the top has like a little gable almost roof, and there's a locking plexiglass on both sides
Yes.
with hard backing behind it that you could put sheets of paper in. We could change it as necessary. so
We
it's
did tell them
waterproof.
they could all go on the field trip if they
Oh,
felt
very
so
good, if
inclined.
anyone wanted to come. And it's probably 8 feet, 8 feet tall and about,
It was an
Okay.
expensive sign.
Yeah,
The DDA spent some money.
Yep.
I mean, the hole with the poles and everything is about 8 foot.
And we're gonna work on solar lighting, so it'll be lit at night.
That was going to
Because
be
there's no power,
my question.
there's no power to this location, unfortunately, but we're gonna put solar lights underneath.
That'll be so cute.
Yeah, so it'll be lit.
I think it's fabulous.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Very nice.
And that was key to me because I felt it had to be an illuminated area. And I couldn't recall, my question is there a light close by? And you just answered it for me, so.
There is an now. Okay, we all good?
Yes, I have a question for Darla. Darla, Red Flannel representatives are here tonight, but I see their questions have been resolved on the consent agenda. Do they need to stay, or are we
Do
going?
not. Nope.
Welcome to.
You're all set.
Thank you for showing up anyways.
Yeah, I was gonna say, do you want, we can vote on this, and if you want 5 minutes to talk, I will give it to you.
Sure, we're here, we'll talk.
Okay, so let me just have everyone vote on the sign, and then I'll give you 5 minutes to tell us about Red Flannel. All right, so there's a motion and a second. Any other discussion on the sign? All those in favor signify by saying.
Madam Mayor,
Yes.
Did not get a motion or
Oh, I thought I did. Okay, I need a motion to approve the installation of the two-sided message board at the heart of Cedar Springs, as indicated on the site map.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye. Did I get an aye?
try it again.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? All right, we have a sign. Would you like to jump in and talk to us about? I will
Getting these new people up here.
I will cede the floor for our Red Flannel folks.
Hi, welcome. Nancy Diamond, president with the Red Flannel Festival. Mike Coxey's here, he's vice president. And we're, of course, constantly working on our Red Flannel Festival. Pretty much the same as years past. We have the weekend before, on the 30th. We have our Kids Day, 5 and 10K run, bed race. Love to see you all
Is the 5K
have.
up for signing up yet?
Pardon? Yeah, it's out there.
Okay.
It's on Run Sign Up.
Because I have a kid that.
Oh, yeah,
So we have to do that
watch
every
for you, absolutely. So yes, you can go to Run Sign Up, and it's there. And I believe Lisa's working on getting events posted on Facebook, and it will have the link.
Okay.
Kids Day, the Queen pageant is Saturday night, the 30th, so we're excited about that. It is at the Springs Church this year. Unfortunately, we've had a lot of girls drop out, so we're hoping we can maybe get one or two more a little bit closer to school, but I don't know. It's
How many
kinda
do you have
iffy.
right now?
We only have 2.
Okay, so if you're watching this,
Listening.
if you're listening to, well, no, it's video, right? It should be video.
Yep,
If you're
if you're a
watching this on
junior.
YouTube and you are a junior at any public or
You have to be
private-
a Cedar Springs resident.
Okay, because I
You
was,
don't have to go to Cedar Springs Public Schools.
Okay.
But you have to be a resident of Cedar Springs.
of Cedar Springs School District.
Correct.
Okay, not the city.
What's the age?
So you have to be a junior this year.
Oh, okay.
And a girl?
So my 3-year-old can't win.
And a girl,
Okay.
a biological girl, please.
They have
Okay.
Prince and Princess.
Yes. Oh, the Prince and Princess is the Wednesday before that. And that's at the Kent Theater. So that's our kindergartners.
And they offer scholarships.
For the Queen, yep. Yep. The Queen gets $3,000 and the runner-up or the court members each get, if there's 2, we usually do 2 court members. This year will be 1. They get $1,500. And it doesn't have to be to like a 4-year college. It can be to a trade school.
Or community college.
Yep, anything like that.
So, okay.
Yep.
Maybe we advertised a little.
Yeah, hopefully, yeah, we'd love to see some more gals come out and try out, and yeah, we have a good time.
Any juniors in the Cedar Springs School District?
Correct. Yep. Yep, and then our Red Flannel Day is the first Saturday in October. We have the Scottville Clown Band is coming back. They will be at the
And it's
tail end.
October 7th?
Yes, October 7th. They will be, the Scottville Clown Band will be at the tail end of our parade. And then they will be playing in our Grand Lodge for about an hour and a half after that, so,
Sounds wonderful.
yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, any questions?
Oh,
Yes.
we got a question.
Is the students from Creative Tech able to try out for?
Yep.
Even if
Okay.
they don't live in, because that's a charter school, they could come from lots of places.
Right, I believe as long as they attend Creative Technologies, yes.
Okay, that was my original understanding, is if you attended any of the public or private schools in the Cedar Springs School District.
Right, yeah.
Okay.
But you can also, we had one girl that was going to run, she lives in Cedar Springs School District, but she goes to Rockford. because her
Oh,
mom's a
okay.
teacher in Rockford.
She's school choices, sure.
Yeah, but unfortunately, she had a band conflict, so she had to drop out. So,
Okay.
yep.
It's a wonderful, wonderful program when these, they do the Queen contest. and-
You do not do a swimsuit, right?
No,
No.
it's a scholarship.
I know, but I mean, I think that's the thing that probably
Yeah.
makes a
Nope,
lot
they
of
do,
people not want to do it.
It's more business related. So they do interviews with judges, which helps promote, for their future life of
Right.
interviewing for jobs. So they
And
do
then it's
that.
their GPA, and then they're volunteering, and, right?
Yeah, so they have to have a 3.0 GPA. And we do monitor that throughout the school year, so
So not just have, they have to maintain.
you have to maintain, yes. Yep.
Those girls are so brilliant and so impressive, and the things they want to do, like brain surgeons and all that stuff, it's just mind-boggling.
Yeah.
I believe our clerk was on the red flannel court once upon a time.
Many years ago.
Stop, I need pictures right now.
What year?
2007.
Okay.
Age myself.
Yeah.
I just had to put that out there. So, okay, any other questions? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for taking time.
Thank you. Have a good day.
We will. All right, moving on. Item D, proposed library services agreement. So I made sure you had copies. I contacted our attorney, and I contacted Carol Dawes, the director of Lakeland. I also copied Carol Dawes' previous response and made sure you had it, because one of the questions seemed to be about the idea that if they pay more money, if Solon Township pays more money, that they are entitled to seats, because they claim that it is about representation. But both Carol and our attorney say that representation happens when a community votes to have a dedicated millage. And our community has voted to have a .88 dedicated millage. We've added as a council on top of that. But our citizens, like tomorrow, if we decided that we wanted to roll back that piece that we added on from .88 to 1.2, we could vote as a council to do that. We could not vote to remove the .88 because our citizens voted to have that in perpetuity to fund a library. And the library board then represents them because of those taxes that they pay. So that's where the representation comes in. So for example, we have Nelson Township contracts for services with us for our fire department, right? And that's totally appropriate. They don't get to decide who we hire for a fire chief. They don't get to decide what equipment we buy. They don't get to decide what goes on our fire trucks. They don't get to decide who sits on our city council. It's a contract for service. What we are offering to Solon Township and what they're currently getting is a contract for service. Any questions about it? Any thoughts? Okay,
Is this time for us?
this is the time. I mean,
Or do we need a motion prior
we
to
can make
discussion?
a motion.
Okay.
Let's make a motion.
There is one little bit of a difficulty. Our attorney says that this letter is not a contract.
Okay.
And he actually initially sent me a whole thing. He's like, well, we could create a contract that puts these pieces in and then the parts that I would tell you to cross out. And it was like 4 pages. And I didn't send it to y'all because I think we don't want to do that, right? And then he was like, and then I'm going to tell you to not take it. So, because the letter is not a contract. I mean, if you look at it, it's basically a wish list of things that they would like to see in a yet secondly revised contract.
Are you saying that we sent them a contract?
We did in the very beginning, in April. We sent them a contract. They sent us an alternative contract or
Talked about last month.
which we talked about for 45 minutes, right? And then this letter is proposed changes. And part of the difficulty is in this letter of proposed changes, the third component where they talk about a community library, like that's not actually a thing, which is what Carol and our attorney say. There's district libraries, there's municipal libraries, there's city libraries. There is no such legal entity as a community library.
But that's just the name of our library. How do we make a motion to discuss the proposed library services?
Well, it's currently an action item, so we can make a motion to accept, we can make a motion to reject their recommended changes. You could make a motion.
I would make a motion to reject the recommended changes to the proposed library contract that was sent to Solon Township.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, discussion. You look like you have
So
lots.
Very much. So first of all, taxation without representation, let's address that. The Solon Township Board is the representation for their voters. They are it. They get to decide if this is in benefit of their residents or is not. And they are free to do either. We can certainly force them to do neither. It is entirely their choice. So, yeah. Anyway, we're going to move past that. As far as not finding it equitable to not have members on the board, first of all, as you stated, that is not a common or even really, it was extraordinarily rare that we did it in the first place. And in addition to that, there was some behaviors that would not make me in favor.
Yeah, this is from Carol.
Yes, yep, I saw that. There were some behaviors from those members that would make me really hesitant to allow any of them to have any authority within the library, and perhaps we revisit this in a few years, which I'm open to, but currently some breathing room feels necessary. And again, unfortunately, I am kind of bummed out this is not on Zoom because I wanted the assurance it would be recorded, so I know we are doing our best. Again, Solon has overestimated the strength of their bargaining position. We are trying to be fair, we are trying to be equitable, and we are trying to bring our friends, neighbors, and family members along. The board is really having a hard time accepting that with 2/3 of the residents, they may have to pay more than the actual city does, because for a long time, with 1/3 of the residents, we covered, my guesstimate is 2/3 of the cost.
That's about right.
So I'm going to need them to not try to tell me that, because I'm not going to even entertain that notion. So this is a stern no thank you from me. Thank you.
And just to be clear, our offer, even when it peaks out, is still less millage than what our citizens are paying. So, I mean, just to be clear, this idea that somehow what we're asking of them is so unreasonable. 0.6, 0.8, 1.0. We're at 1.22. I have a very deep concern. Rose and I have been attending every library board meeting for a year.
At least.
And the state of Michigan library policies say that for municipal facilities that have libraries, like us, that you may not put a member of your municipal board on the library board. None of us sit on that library board. Okay, and it's not because we don't care. It's because we're not supposed to be there. And they put their supervisor on the board when they were told that that was not acceptable by the Lakeland Township, they were told, you can't put a, directly quoting Mr. Ellick, you can't put me in jail for it. When he resigned, he immediately appointed their treasurer, and they then had a special meeting that did not have all of our representatives present and voted to make him the chair. The director from Lakeland has specifically told me this is a problem. And there's nothing I can do about it, even though we are the responsible body for this. So as long as we divide this chair, this board the way we do, we are responsible. We write the check. We are the ones who have to answer to Lakeland. We are the ones that have the ticket into the co-op for Lakeland. We are the ones that can be kicked out of Lakeland. And we can do nothing about the behaviors of their members.
And the residents don't know about it.
Mm-hmm.
That's a problem.
I got nothing. I mean, and I cannot continue to support that. Okay, anybody else?
I have to agree, especially after the last meeting. It was
The last Solon meeting?
the last library board meeting.
The last library board meeting was pretty horrific.
It was horrific.
And we are currently bleeding staff. Cammie has quit, and now 2 more library staff have quit.
What was so bad about it, Rose?
Well, at the end, like when we have our comments, they had the board comments, and the secretary announced, the library board secretary announced that Cedar Springs had not paid library fees for 10 years.
Something, I don't know, 1994 to like 2000,
years.
something like that.
And I sat there and I thought, well, there must be a mistake somewhere, it must be a mistake. And he insisted that these are papers from the state of Michigan that claim that Cedar Springs never paid their library fees. I'm thinking that must be some kind of mistake, And then he announced that is the reason that the library is having so much financial problems, is because Cedar Springs did not pay the fees for 10 years. And it was at the board comment, so nobody ever had an opportunity to understand that that was coming at us. It wasn't on the agenda. We just had to walk out.
I have a question for clarification. Because is there some other fee other than the hundreds of thousands of dollars that our residents pay and then the checks on top of it that the city has cut? Is there some other fee that we are not aware of?
Well, there is actually a state aid fund.
Okay.
Which, again, part of the way that you have to be eligible to get that state aid fund is you have to have a certain class of librarian. You have to, we are the ones who meet all those check marks to make sure that we get that state aid.
This was a spreadsheet. Solon on this side, Cedar Springs on the
Can
other.
you give it to Darla?
There were 10 years of Cedar Springs payments missing. We're talking $70,000, $80,000 a year.
Oh.
He claims
And it
we
was
just
missing.
didn't pay it.
And I thought that has got to be some kind of a data error. Because, and even Mrs. Clark was shocked. She says, this can't be true. I made the budget.
There was also a claim that the city is withholding that money. And that,
Oh.
It was shocking.
Wow, that is really.
Yeah.
and that the city is just sitting on that money and is purposefully trying to financially strangle the library. Even though we budget additional money.
Just
Beyond-
to cover,
Right,
because.
right.
I gave a kind of a quick addition on that, and I figured it was somewhere around $400,000 that they're claiming we didn't pay. Now I'm thinking, We have treasurers on the library board and the city. Somebody would have noticed that this $70,000, $80,000, $50,000 a year wasn't showing up. And at that,
Honestly, if that's the case, then that's on the chair of the library board, so, which is not our problem.
in the yeah, I was just appalled. But we did
Like,
go to,
assuming that's true, that doesn't help them at
They
all.
were also claiming that the treasurer actually told 2 of our library board members that they do not pay taxes for the library. And all of these people said, I own my house, it's on my
I mean,
tax
I
bill.
think we've made it pretty clear that they just are making stuff
I'm
up.
just telling you, these are the conversations
Right,
that are
but
happening.
it's not even
Did
worth.
they say where this information came from? Like, what, did they pull this off
Supposedly from a website.
state website, is what I was told, and it's like the gospel, according to
You
the
can just
secretary.
get it on the internet.
Yeah.
Okay, but how is it explained that they did nothing with that information for 10 years?
Is all I can tell you. For me, that was it. It was over.
She was quite angry. She was like, we need to get a hold of Darla. I'm like, okay, Darla is with her passing away father. We are not going to drop this on her.
Okay, anyway, I think that the point stands for all of the above. No, thank you. Not even no thank you, just no.
And our attorney and Carol from Lakeland have said, the attorney, the offer you put on the table is fair. That offer continues to stand. We're not withdrawing it. We've done no action to withdraw that offer. The offer stands. Okay? Any other discussion before we move on? And I take a vote?
I honestly feel like we shouldn't be discussing it every single time.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
It's like insulting.
They sent a thing, and I feel like I should send it to you.
No, I'm not saying don't send us the stuff, but in terms of like having a half an hour discussion on it and being like outraged that they made up lies, like I literally just, like I don't want to even grace them with a response.
How about
to
this?
that. It's insulting to all the people that know
I would
what
like-
is exactly going on. And if people have questions, I am more than willing to find information for you and answer questions and all that stuff. So not that we're hiding information, but just like, I'm so
I will
tired.
tell you, I am talking to the attorney about coming up with the new bylaws for the new library board. And I am in the process of getting the people together to be our new library board members, because I want to have those actually all in place for us for the next meeting, so that when we get to October, they can like hit the ground running, and we don't have this like crazy
Yeah.
trying to transition. So I do plan to have that for you for the next meeting.
I just feel like they continue to say crazy, outrageous things and give us
I would like to
crazy,
withdraw.
outrageous promotions because
Okay, so no
react
motion?
to it.
I would
I
like,
have one comment, if I
Sure.
could, please.
Sure.
If it's totally broken, we can't fix it. If that's the case.
Yep.
I am disturbed though, however, that the mayor decided there were certain documents we should receive, but just admitted here tonight, there's ones you decided not to forward to us that our attorney has sent.
That son about,
I would just as soon have had a chance to see
I
it.
can give them to you, they're not about this.
It's late now. If it must have something to do about it.
No, it's
If
about,
You said we could add this, or this.
okay,
No, wait a minute.
this is the part I'm saying I'm gonna give you next month. It's about the bylaws and about,
But you brought it up tonight, and then we're taking a vote tonight.
okay.
Okay.
We're not taking a vote on the bylaws tonight.
If there's, no, we're gonna vote on whether we're gonna agree with this or not, and it may add to the reasoning for not voting for it.
Okay.
I don't know what's in that document.
The additional part that I have for the attorney, I also had a phone call with him because I sent to Carol, we're gonna need new bylaws. Where do I get that from? Is that from you? She came back and forth and said, I can get you an attorney. Maybe you wanna talk to your attorney. I talked to our attorney and said, we're gonna need new bylaws. How do I go about that? So he started talking to me about that. I didn't think that was pertinent to this piece of the conversation. I have like 4 pages on that, which I will be happy to share with you
Once you have them.
once I have it all, but it didn't seem like that was the part that mattered for tonight's conversation.
Then why was it mentioned to begin with tonight?
Because the part that I sent you is at the end where he gave the response. The question was, what is the question that you were asking at the beginning of it? So I was answering your question, and I'm not trying to keep anything from you. I mean, I didn't have to go ask the attorney, and, I mean, I could have just said no. Okay, so I am going to be doing that next month. Yes.
Okay, so the second half of I would like to withdraw the motion was I would like to make a different motion, that we will continue to discuss the Solon Township and library agreement under the circumstances that they either A, wish to negotiate the timeline of tax increases, or B, wish to agree to the proposal that was sent out as of April 13th of 2023 from this city council.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, any discussion?
Okay. I think that we need to make sure it says agreement for library services, because that's basically what it is.
I think that's what it said.
I know, it says that here, I'm just saying,
I would amend to,
in your motion, yeah.
Sure.
Because we want to make sure that is actually what the agreement is for, library services.
Ms. Nixon, would you be able to repeat that for me, please?
so I would like to make a motion that the conditions under which we will bring these proposals or letters from Solon Township to the city council regarding contracts for services for library is either that Solon Township agrees to the initial contract that was sent out by city council in April of 2023, or they wish to discuss and negotiate the timeline of the stepped increases to taxes.
Is there a second?
I can second that, and I'd like discussion too.
I was going to say, any discussion?
You believe Ms. Hamel already seconded that.
Oh,
Oh, okay.
I just don't, just on the way that this should be done, I don't know if they have to bring this to their people at their board meetings, that this is going on? No? Okay.
I mean,
I'm
they
not sure.
can, but they don't.
I mean, they should, but it's not anything that we can control.
Right, right. I just,
They absolutely should be taking into consideration
it's just a thought, yeah.
what people want.
I have had quite a few people ask me about Open Meetings Act violations because they don't hold they voted on an ordinance and didn't have a public hearing. I have no power or authority over that, but a person who lives in Solon Township, if you want to, it sounds crazy, press charges for an Open Meetings Act violation, that is a thing that you can do as a resident. And the person that you would do that with is through the Kent County prosecutor. But it's not a thing I can make anybody do. Anything else?
Let's keep going.
Okay, other discussion? Okay, I'll do a roll call vote. Ms. Atchison,
Yes.
Mr. Gross,
I will vote yes only because I think we're going nowhere with it. It's just not, it's not happening. So,
okay, Ms. Hamel,
Yes.
Ms. Nixon,
Yes.
Ms. Powell,
Yes?
Ms. Race,
Yes.
Mayor Conley votes yes. I will bring things to you next month on hopefully what our bylaws are going to look like for the new library board, how many seats are going to be on the library board, and I hope to have a panel of people that we can recommend that I will have interviewed and so on. So that's my, if you have thoughts or questions or concerns about that, please get them to me. I'm doing it as a kind of collective between our attorney, Ms. Falcon, and Carol Dawes, the director of Lakeland, to make sure that it meets the requirements for Lakeland since they're our cooperative.
I have a quick question.
Sure.
anyone that wants to be part of this board,
You fill out an application?
and do they have to live in the city?
They do.
Okay.
You have to be a city resident.
Okay.
And you fill out an application. It's just like being on planning commission and you fill out an application and I then interview you just like any other board.
Right.
And then we're gonna appoint a panel of 5 people.
Okay.
And it's my intention to appoint at least some of the people that are currently representing the city on the library board who have a,
You appoint them?
I appoint them and you vote.
Okay.
That's just like planning commission, just like DDA, just like all of the other boards that we do. So
Is it my understanding you cannot be an elected official of the City of Cedar Springs?
that is state library policy.
Okay.
Is that you are not supposed to be seated on the municipal government. You could be a planning commissioner, you could be on the fire department, you could be an employee of.
Like, it's just like you can't make money decisions about money that you're gonna be spending.
You can't make decisions about the people that are gonna be appointed to the board and be on the board. That's the biggest problem. It's not even about the money, because the money actually comes in from taxes. It's a separate fund, other than we just choose to give it more money. But the problem is, the check and balance is supposed to be that board functions independently, and then we're the check back that we can remove them. But if we are the board, there's no check back. Does that make sense?
Right. But also, the part of the issue is that Solon was voting not to spend money, because they were on there.
But that's because they don't have a dedicated
that.
millage.
Yeah.
So, our people pay taxes directly. Like, we don't, when people pay their taxes, that .88 that is dedicated, plus the 1.2 that we have voted, that elevates, it's another .4, goes directly into a library fund. Like, it's not part of the budget that we get to allocate. Like, we couldn't decide, gosh, that money looks really nice, maybe we'll use it to repay First Street. Like, that's not a thing. Just like the water fund, it's dedicated legally. Solon does not have that responsibility because they have no dedicated millage. They write it out of their general fund
And that's just their choice.
because they have a contract with us.
So their choice after this would be to, they would,
Contract with someone.
Contract with somebody or
get a
Pay a
millage?
millage.
Like-
Or vote to have a millage. That's absolutely a thing. They could have done that a very long time ago.
Yeah.
When I was on the library board 20 years ago, we tried to become a district between the city and Cedar. The city approved it. Solon Township did not.
Okay.
I got nothing.
All right.
Okay?
Carry on.
So I will be trying to bring that to you. So if you know people, my current plan is to have 5 people on the board. The board can have anywhere between 5 and 9, is my understanding. I'm thinking 5 sounds good. We're gonna stay at the small end, but if we had a ton of interest, we could go up to 7. But that's my current plan. And I wanna have all of it set for them in the September meeting, so in October, they don't have to flail about.
will we have a meeting before October 13th?
One day before. It's the 12th.
Okay.
So that's, again, part of my, so I want to have it in place for them,
Yeah, that makes sense.
if that makes sense, right? So, and we can appoint them the month before, and they just don't get sworn in until that day. Okay? Are we good? All right. We voted, yes?
Yep.
Yes, all right, moving on. Discussion items, rezoning of 14300 White Creek Avenue, Cedar Springs, Michigan, 49319, from agriculture to R3. 'Cause we talk about this all the time.
This feels like it's the Rockford Ambulance Substation? Am I thinking that's right?
No, this is, it's the
Oh
apartment.
my gosh, okay.
It's the apartments.
Okay.
We have to rezone them.
Oh, okay, yeah, fine, good,
It was determined the process for rezoning
okay.
historically had not been done properly, so
What a concept.
Fixing
So
it.
And it's going from Solon, it was Solon Township and it's going to be Cedar Springs.
Okay.
We're not gonna let you vote, Molly.
we're only,
punchy. Like, I had the migraine glasses on when I got here.
We're only going to refer to the site as Cedar Springs.
Okay, very good. Very good. Yes, good.
Okay, so what do we need to know? Anything? You're rezoning it.
I mean, it makes
Correct,
sense to
yeah,
fix it.
And it's been recommended by the planning commission, because they're the ones who we listen to for
Correct.
that stuff.
Perfect.
I think this is more of a formality to follow through with the proper process for.
Yeah.
My favorite planning commissioner tells me that you had all of your ducks in a row.
Yes.
I have a question for the city manager.
Please.
We have no ag zone area to begin with, right?
Correct.
So to change it from ag to R1, or 3, sorry,
Yeah, I was gonna say R3.
not really, we're changing the zoning, we're changing the description as it pertains to being in the city. So is that a changing of the zoning?
That's a step in the process.
Okay, and that's fine, because we have no ag, so it couldn't be
Right.
an ag, it has to be, okay,
We used to have ag.
to me, it should be a no-brainer, but if it's, the government says we gotta do it, then we'll do it, so.
I'm told by the planning commission that both of your sets of plans were just phenomenal. Anything else? Any discussion? Any questions? Any questions?
No.
Moving on. Do we need a special, are we good?
We're good.
Hearing? Okay. Ordinance B26, an ordinance to amend Chapter 32, Article 2, Division 1, Section 32, 1-59, entitled Zoning, District Regulations, Generally Zoning Map of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Cedar Springs, first reading. Questions? Discussion? Because we have meetings and hearings and things when we change ordinances.
I'll make a motion to support that.
This is discussion.
This is a discussion.
First reading, you'll get it again
First
next
reading.
month.
Okay, yeah.
Because we hear things twice.
Yes.
Any questions?
This
'Cause
is
I'm gonna
where
move on
we
to C.
just actually register the fact that this zone has changed. That's pretty much simple, and put it in the books and codify and all that stuff.
Yeah, and what's basically happening is there's this chunk of Solon Township that is agricultural, that is becoming the city of Cedar Springs.
Yes.
And is becoming R3.
Right.
And all of the things that change it from Solon Township agricultural to the city of Cedar Springs R3 have to happen.
Yes.
So that's going to include like taxes for Grand Rapids Community College, taxes for the library, right? Because Solon Township doesn't pay taxes for the library. The city of Cedar Springs does. This property will have to pay taxes for the library. All of the things, right? It's part of the fire department scope. It's part of the literal map of the city of Cedar Springs will change.
Yes.
So and we've done this a lot with 425 and annexes and people who want to do water hook-ons, but they're usually like one little chunk. This is a big chunk.
Big chunk.
So does that make sense? Yep. Any other discussion? Good? Okay, moving back to the payback agreement with the, C.
Yep.
Brownfield.
Yep.
A resolution approving amendment to the City of Cedar Springs Brownfield Redevelopment Authority Brownfield Plan for the White Creek Flats project. Any discussion on this? I do want to say 2 years ago, we sat in this room and tried to come up with a tool, and our amazing city manager, who was then our amazing finance director, is the one who said, here's some tools that we might be able to use. So she was really instrumental in making that happen.
Excellent.
And DDA was totally supportive. I believe there was a unanimous, I think we were even all there, and there was a unanimous vote to support it. So, any discussion on that? And then the payback agreement, this is item D, payback agreement with White Creek Flats LLC. This is the portion, so they capture, it's an 80-20, they capture 80% of the taxes on this pay-through for the brownfield. And we capture 20% to be able to pay our fire department and our police. That was the big, long meeting at the fire department. And then they are also going to pay hook-on fees. Because this closes that water loop, it also opens up another very large chunk of property that could also be annexed. And then or 425, and can then be hooked on. And they're agreeing to have hook-on fees come to the city. That was a piece of the negotiation. So are we good on that?
Yep.
Any questions?
Nope, you did a great job working that out, that payback.
Okay. That was, a lot of that was Molly. Mm-hmm. And then they came up with the clever idea of the hook-ons.
Yep. And then capturing 80% of our agenda tonight. Thank you.
There you go.
You know, but have we really been discussing it for 2 years, though? I feel like you have not become the thorn in my side that some marijuana things were. Like, it doesn't feel like we've been talking about this for 2 years.
Or
good
multifamily housing. Multifamily housing. It could be that. It is multifamily housing and not that kind of
Non-conforming.
non-conforming multifamily. No one's cried, so I'm gonna take that as a good
It's a
sign.
win.
All right, so anything else? This is, by the way, we are completely fundamentally changing the entire map, the entire face, the entire, like, we're gonna have, 500 more people. It's gonna tip us into probably another voting precinct. It's gonna, there's a huge, this is gonna have a huge cascade effect, and I'm not advocating it's bad, but just to know this is a big deal, that we're doing this.
Yes.
So, okay, then no more discussion on that. Communications, community event calendar. Concerts in the park seem lovely. Thank you.
Thank you.
He's gonna make you limp out on your own while he tries to sneak out.
Aw, here to help.
He's got his own book
Carry
carrier
stuff.
with him.
What a nice wife.
Oh, my
So what he said is I don't have a basket because I have a wife.
Oh, no, you just got him in trouble.
Right?
You can't run away as fast.
She carries you.
Community event calendar, I'm happy to announce that on the August 23rd, there's going to be a world-famous accordion player at the amphitheater. I hope to have a big crowd. Supposedly, the brewery's having German clubs and all kinds of people coming from Grand Rapids, so let's have a good show out for that. Hopefully it doesn't rain. I don't know if he has an alternative place to do it, but
Probably his tents.
I don't know. Pretty exciting
Yeah.
to have this guy here. I can't wait. That's all I can say about that.
Okay. Concerts in the park, I think, have been pretty well attended, and we've had good weather. No crazy storms or hurricanes blowing anything down, and so that's good. Any other community event things? We've just heard from Red Flannel. Okay, moving on. Oh, and we talked some at DDA about Halloween
Yes.
and about a spooktacular. So they're wanting to move forward on that, which I think is a really great idea. We talked
Yes.
about closing down Main Street for a couple of hours, which I think is an
Trunk or
excellent-
treat.
And,
yeah.
and offering people to come bring their cars to do a trunk or treat.
Ooh, that sounds fun.
And so then the idea would be like we don't have to have kids necessarily going all over the entire, like they could come this way. A lot of kids get hit by cars on Halloween.
Not our kids.
I understand, but it's a thing. Like if you look at the stats, it's a thing. So if they can be,
Centralized.
that's
in
a
a
good
place where there aren't cars.
And we bring more chocolate to them because that is absolutely what they need.
Right, right? So, for what it's worth, and having done the Spooktacular in the past, I often hand out candy here for City Hall. It's like whole families, so it's really nice. Like it's helpful for, people who have older people who want to trick or treat, who are maybe developmentally disabled, or people who want to go out with whole families, who have little tiny kids and then middle kids, and somebody doesn't have to stay home, and it's just a really nice way to have it be everybody in the community, and it keeps everybody safe.
And perhaps some of the businesses will benefit by exposure and, people coming in and saying, oh boy, this is a cute little shop.
Yeah. So we've talked about the DDA, we even talked about the idea of maybe having a theme every year. So, I don't know.
So will we need less police then?
No, we probably need more. would be my guess. Yeah,
That
Trying to
feels
save money.
counterintuitive.
because they have to actually shut down traffic.
Oh,
Oh, I thought you guys could just like put out barriers or something.
Yeah, because people always honor those.
Yeah, the trucks.
We currently pay for 2 deputies for the spectacular.
Yeah.
If we're gonna add road closures of all of Main Street, that's gonna require more police services and with the additional cost.
Yeah,
'Cause they would have to be here longer, they gotta be here earlier to shut things down, later to open things back up again. I'm for it.
Okay, fine, we'll pay you, it's fine.
Whatever you say.
I think that would
Send
be
us the
cool,
bill.
especially if we could have like people come with their cars and like back up on the
right,
side
that's the
streets to
idea.
Main Street.
I do like.
That was the discussion of
We
like,
need the officers helping
Even in
people
the
across the road. So maybe it'll do it with 2, maybe it'll do the same amount of officers, but they'll be required to be here longer.
Longer.
Right.
It might not be a huge addition in price.
But that could be quite.
Question?
Do you have a rough
And
time
it's-
frame then? Go ahead.
what's the question?
That's on Main Street. That will be done. The road will be done.
Yes, by Red Flannel.
Then it will be closed again after Red Flannel.
Not
From the
until,
bridge to 18 Mile.
Right,
Oh.
from the bridge to 18 Mile.
The other
That would
side.
cut off a lot of traffic.
Yeah,
Trucks and stuff to get to the North Project are gonna wanna come up Main Street to get there. So I don't know, what date does Halloween fall on?
I'm not sure this
31st.
year.
31st.
Well, yes, but is it a Tuesday? Is it a?
Oh my
gosh.
It's a Tuesday.
well, everything goes through our development right now, everything, because of,
Yeah,
I think they're open on Friday.
I live on Fifth Street,
Friday, maybe?
so I live on Fifth Street.
Yes. Main Street Part 2.
Yes.
What?
But there's other
Gonna
options, I mean, maybe it's not Main Street, maybe it's the heart of Cedar Springs that we completely shut down.
I had suggested that originally, as like especially for the trunk or treat. I felt like, and we could put it in the pavilion and the parking spaces by the White Pine Trail, but the DDA seemed really committed. They wanted the businesses,
I think so too.
not
I
opposed to that.
think it's totally, I love that idea.
and I mean we're talking about a few hours.
And it's like family stuff, it's totally. That's what I
There's
like.
gonna be an issue.
Super fun.
There's always an issue.
There's always an issue.
There's always an
Because of
issue. Someone's gonna be mad. Let's just count on it.
I'm just
comes to the school.
I'm just past
They're like,
the
"You can
DDA
close it down
brought
for
it up.
free, but you
I
can't
think
do
it's a
it for
wonderful idea.
Or prom, or, you know,
Yeah.
Homecoming.
Oh, I've gotten very good at my face of,
but it's children. They have to be safe.
Do you think there will be a difficulty in getting police officers?
No, not for, we're not as busy that time of year, so the officers
Okay.
are looking for things to.
For a pair of boots.
That's what I was
I
wondering.
mean, we could give out full-size candy bars if that will,
That'll get me
increase staffing.
That's
And we will absolutely offer to, like, bring your kids, and we will have additional adult escorts for
Well,
collecting candy if that's helpful.
we can work it out.
Yeah. Well, maybe that's not the right word. I don't know.
Oh,
Supervision. How about that? Do you want
very different kind of,
He's gonna be dreaming tonight.
supervision? Adult supervision. How about that?
oh goodness.
Anyway, I'm just putting it out there. I'm gonna suggest that the DDA like come up with a thing to pitch to us specifically. But it was a conversation that they had at the last, and we have been doing the Spooktacular for,
Sounds quite.
yeah, it's become quite a thing. And I think it's fabulous. Like
I love, it's one of my favorite times.
me too.
Like our neighborhood is like crazy and Prairie.
Yeah.
Prairie Run, so like
I love
having it
it.
be all downtown, we did both of them, so.
Right.
I love it.
I'm Halloween's so my thing. You know. So yeah, no, I'm here for it. So anyway, just putting that on there when we're talking about events. NKCE, anything for there?
Nope.
Letter to Solon Township regarding library services, we've addressed that. Kent County election programming costs, do you need anything to tell us?
Nope, I would just mention that, costs for programming are gonna be going up because they're gonna be hiring an outside vendor to do that. Or Kent County used to do that in-house, so
Sure.
another cost increase.
Of course, because that's how it works.
What do you mean outside vendor?
So the county used to do all the programming for the ballots in-house, so the election director used to do that. Be hired to an outside company.
Okay.
to do all of that.
So similarly, I think, to how we hire Fishbeck to do our water, I think.
Do you have an extended tabulation time? I know there's a lot of talk about a 9-day period. And do you have to have someone seated for that,
Are you talking for early voting?
for early voting? Yeah.
Yep, so that'll come effect in 2024. At this point, there's some legislation and there's question on when it will take effect and when it
Because of
will take
course.
effect, but it will be here for 24. So we'll be working on getting staffing and who can be those workers and all of those kinds of things. All of those things haven't been ironed out quite yet.
I just didn't know if it was gonna affect anything in the near future.
Not in the near future. Nope, not until after the new year.
Well, depends on what you consider near.
Yeah, that seems near to me.
It'll get here soon enough, huh? So, okay.
Okay, anything else on that? Then, notice of violation trip provisions and Lake Life Farms. That's from what we talked about last month, right? And we did the
That's been
things
resolved.
and yeah. May the force be with them. City manager report.
Well, I'm glad to be back to work after being gone for 2 weeks. Rough period. But glad to be back, really, and I really want to thank my staff for the 2 weeks that I was gone. I bought them all pizza today because, like so many times, I would check my phone, get an email, and I would forward it to somebody and say, can you please take care of this? And they did.
Of course.
So they are fabulous. I really, really appreciate all their help while I was gone. So like I said, I bought them pizza today, and I think they really appreciated it, and I really appreciate them. So hit the ground running this Monday when I got back. I received the NKC preliminary audit from the auditors that were here a couple weeks ago. As the treasurer of the NKCE board, I review that, let the auditors know you're good to go, then they'll print all the copies and distribute them. Resumes for the finance director position. We have received one application so far. Haven't set up any interviews. All applications are due tomorrow by 5 p.m., so I'm waiting to see if any more come in. This candidate clearly meets the guidelines that I'm looking for, so keep my fingers crossed.
You hire this person. We do
Correct.
not. We
Yep.
do not have to do that, y'all.
So we'll, if there's 1 or 2 or 10, whatever, we'll review them and set up interviews as soon as we can. And this past week, I've had a lot of zoning permits. I'm like fences and sheds and extending driveways and just, that's a piece I haven't done in the past, but I'm working my way through it. Kind of check in with the city planner. Hey, am I looking at this correctly? Yep, proceed. Let the homeowners know. When people come in with a fence permit, like, they've already bought the material, they want to get the fence up, so I get it. I want to get a response to them pretty quickly, so that's my goal. So a few had piled up while I was gone, but all of those are taken care of, so,
Awesome.
yep, moving on.
Okay. Police Department, our Department of Public Works. Are we able to get Bill on the phone? No?
That's what it is. That's okay.
It's okay. Police Department.
Unlike Darla, I'm not happy to be back to work. So I've been off for a while.
Different circumstance.
Things are going well.
We missed you, but your replacement was a very nice person.
Yes, that's my boss, so hopefully good things about me. Yeah, things are going well. The new department's working out great. Having it in Cedar. Our responses are quick. The amount of extra officers that are around town is amazing. I think it's really working out well. It's starting to slowly get busier there. Hopefully, once the fingerprint machine gets there, they'll start scheduling people to come up here to the city of Cedar Springs to do their fingerprinting and stuff, which will benefit them for lunch or whatever it might be.
I got a
in the city.
question that you might be able to answer that I did not have the answer to. So there is an Office of Public Health there. Can you take your kids to get their vaccines there?
Yes. Right now, they're handling all vaccines for children There are a few other appointments for some other things, but it's kind of limited basically to child vaccinations.
Somebody was asking about needing preschool or going to before school vaccines and couldn't get into their doctor, and is that a thing? And I was like, well, I don't know. We do ours at the pharmacy.
Because they have a big freezer department and everything, all the vaccines are on ice and
So you can go in there. Do you need to schedule an appointment or can you just show up?
they're not very busy. I'm sure you can just show up.
Okay.
Oh, you've jinxed them now.
So, I don't know a lot of those answers, but that's what my understanding. Spooktacular, it sounds like a great idea. It makes it easier for officers, makes it safer for the kids to close down Main Street. It's a great idea, and I look forward to working with DDA. Maybe we can come up with a plan, an idea, and cost value. It's gonna take some volunteers in addition to police services, because there's barricades to put out, up, down, and those are things that the officers can participate with, but can't do all of it in that quick amount of time, so. Yeah.
Okay, sounds good. You can go dressed as a police officer. You have a,
My kids are old enough now, I don't have to trick or treat anymore.
all right. Anything else then?
That's it.
Okay, fire department. We don't have Marty tonight. So we do have our new fire, I keep wanting to call him like Lieutenant Chief, or he's like, I'm just a firefighter. I'm like, okay, but you're a full-time firefighter, so.
Top was like, he works a million hours because he
I will
was
speak
there
for
last
them.
night. I'm like,
Yeah, I know.
The fire department and first responders have been very busy.
He was
Yeah.
like Facebooking from there at like 9 o'clock at night. And he was like, here, I brought my dog. I was like, oh, come on.
We're in general support of bringing
I'm
dogs
supportive
here.
bringing the dog. I was like, really? 9 o'clock? Okay. I thought it was fine. I didn't have a problem with I was like, maybe we should get the dog a uniform. So, there should be a firehouse pug. Because, Anyway, I'm really glad that that's a thing, because our calls are crazy in number. All right, then city clerk, anything for us?
Just at the moment, we will start prepping for our November election, so that will be shortly coming from the clerk's office. We are going to start looking at the 9 days of early voting coming in 2024 with all of the rules and regulations that are to come on that. So we will continue to do that. I wanted to apologize for the audiovisual difficulties, something that's out of our control, but we're working our best to get that handled. It does appear that the meeting is recording, so I'm hopeful.
Did the urgent department of the IT right ever get back to us?
They did get back with us, however, it was right in the middle of the meeting, so
very
it
good.
wasn't at that point.
Didn't
So
seem worth
urgent.
it. I just would like to give a big thank you to Rebecca, who, because I was at a DDA meeting and Planning Commission, and it was like the Rebecca show. And not that you didn't have lots of help, but you were just phenomenal. Like, everything just kept right on flowing.
Generalized rock star.
So I just feel like we need to acknowledge that you just stepped up and made everything happen. So I'm really glad for that, and I'm glad you could do that for Darla so she could have that time, but we also need to acknowledge that that was not without effort and should get some serious props. So thank you for that. All right, then Finance Director, because it's the Darla Show.
I have nothing to report, sorry.
Code enforcement, building inspections, board and commissions. I do want to just one quick thing on the board and commissions. I've been asked multiple times about Solon Township posting their minutes, posting their meetings, I have zero control. I cannot make them do that. So we can just keep doing what we do here. So, moving on. Council comments.
Am I first?
Do you want to not go first?
No, I don't want to go first.
Okay.
Somebody else go first.
Mr. Gross, let's start with you. Do you not want to go first?
No, I don't want to be politically correct. I personally believe that we as a board need to work stronger on staying on track I think far too often we wander way off in discussion. And I think we lose our point and direction at times. Not slapping anywhere, anything. I think we as a group need to do that. Okay? There's a certain amount of fun and laughing and joy that we can have at this. But at the same token, we're here to be professional and do the job that we're elected to do. So, if this is a negativity, I guess I'm being negative, but that's not what it's intended to be. I just think it should be something that we need to work very hard at. And I think sometimes we as a group probably fail, okay?
Ouch.
So,
Ouch.
that's it.
Okay. Are you ready, Rose?
Blunt and to the point.
I was just real glad to see Kip Hart in here tonight and getting the football and the Skinner Field situation under control. I hope it works out for everybody involved, and glad Darla put her foot down and said, you know, it's time to straighten this up. You can't do the whole thing yourself. And I don't know, Jerry, if you're helping out with that, if they've,
I haven't yet, because he wanted until the end of this season to get it done, so.
okay, all right.
I assumed, again, and this assumptions are a bad thing, but that was going to carry through at this point, and then in the off-season is when it was going to happen, so.
Yeah, but anyway, I'm glad about that, that Skinner Field is going to be back on track for the kids. I'm not a sports addict or anything, but it's good for the kids and the families, and they make friends and families, and it's good for the community.
Lisa?
Once again, the staff that we have is amazing.
Really?
I'm glad that Darla's taken over the manager's position. And I'm glad that you have the staff behind you where you can depend on them to take over, and you will. You're not trying to do everything yourself. So part of that position is dependent on other people too, and helping them grow. And so I'm really happy to see the direction we're going.
Renee?
Congratulations. You look fantastic today.
Always do.
Always. No, extra today. I definitely noticed extra. So, probably because it was a big day for you. But welcome back. My condolences to you and your family, of course. Thank you, Rebecca, for all you're doing and helping her and keeping things on track. I feel that I don't think that we have failed in the position. We are people that literally come off the street and are learning our jobs as we go. So I think it's important to be able to ask questions, discuss. I agree that sometimes things go off into left, right field. That's very common, but I think we do a really good job with it. I would never say that we fail at what we've done, so that's what I think for you guys. I think we're doing well. That's it.
Okay. Ashley?
I don't really have anything.
Okay. Ms. Nixon?
I, similarly, staff continues to be fabulous and amazing. I'm glad to have Darla on with us. I'm glad to be able to finally make it to a couple consecutive council meetings, because that was rough for a couple months, but so glad to be here, and that's all I have.
Getting more staffing?
No, but making different choices on my end, so.
Get it. I feel like I have just had a whole lot of, between DDA and this piece with the apartment complex and then the library. Rose, by the way, is our absolute rock star with this library. She has went to every meeting. She has went to all all the library board meetings. She has went to all the Solon meetings. She stalks when they have special meetings, when the notices are posted at 1 o'clock in the morning, and will text me with there's a meeting at 10 o'clock tomorrow, I'm going. So just keeping all of these balls in the air has felt like a lot. I'm getting to know our attorney far better than I expected to. And as I said, hope to have that hammered out for you for next meeting on what that board is going to look like. But I'm also willing to take input on how many seats and what have you, if that's a thing. And I am just really appreciative that we have so much stuff going on, that it's important that we have all these conversations, that there are concerts and spectaculars and apartments and libraries and fire departments and stuff. I mean, it's huge.
And to be meeting once a month, I mean, figure this stuff out.
But I know I keep getting sucked into what's happening in other townships and not just Solon. And I keep hearing about, why don't we have a police department that's dedicated? Why don't we have a, I'm like, I guess your citizens need to decide to pay for that. And then you need to have a council that makes it happen. And we make it happen. So I'm just thrilled that we put in, and yeah, sometimes it gets a little wonky. Because I have this weird idea that I want to hear what all of you have to say, and that you all get a say and a vote and a conversation, and that's the way we should do it. So I'm just thrilled that we have so much wonderful things that require so much attention in our community. And with that, we're adjourned. 8:48.